Welcome to the review of the 2018-19 season. Another challenging year in the league, but a memorable cup run left plenty of positives heading into the summer. Priestfield welcomed several new signings in the summer of 2018. Brandon Hanlon and Regan Charles Cook arrived from Charlton, Dean Parrott joined from AFC Wimbledon, and Barry Fuller returned to the club for a second spell, having captained Gills to playoff glory in 2009.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed it, loved being back at the club, and great to be around the boys in the dressing room. It's good atmosphere and positive group.
Do they give you stick that you're perhaps are you the oldest one? I suppose you are.
I think I'm the oldest one by 2 or 3 years, I think, yeah. No, not really. Well, not to me sometimes. Sometimes it's pops or old man or losing your hair or whatever. But yeah, no, I've thoroughly enjoyed it.
The season began on a high, winning the first 2 games in great style. The opening day saw a 2-0 victory at Accrington, Brandon Hanlon scoring on his debut, with Josh Parker sealing the points. Then it was Burton Albion in front of the Priestfield crowd for the first time this campaign. They had to come from behind, but 2 goals from Tom Eaves, either side of a Luke O'Neill free kick, secured a 3-1 victory. A host of injuries then led to a dip in form, as 6 losses and 2 draws meant we entered October in the relegation places, without a win in almost 2 months. However, against the odds, a trip to Fratton Park to face league leaders Portsmouth yielded a 2-0 victory, which included this sensational effort from Tom Eaves.
Luke O'Neill's chipped one to the back post. I've nodded it down perfectly to Eavesy. Chested it, sort of goals behind him, he's chested it. I want to say left foot over his head, left foot volley, top corner. It's probably one of the best goals I've been on the pitch to sort of witness live.
Alex Lacey added the second in first half stoppage time.
I think we was on the back of a bad run then, and we went there away. Just sort of bossed the game, beat him 2-0. Didn't even look like conceding, losing the game.
That shows what's in there, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, yeah. But there's been many this season where there's been games where we've sort of gone as underdogs and done really well.
A battling 3-3 draw away at Doncaster included a rare sight. Barry Fuller's name on the score sheet for the first time.
Scoring. My first ever goal for a club, even though I was here 4.5 years previously. Scoring a goal away at Doncaster was nice.
A disappointing defeat at Plymouth was followed with back-to-back home wins. First up was Bradford, and a 4-0 victory thanks to goals from Regan Charles Cook, Elliot List, and 2 from Tom Eaves.
Chip ball towards the far post, Tom Eaves is there! This time he converts, and Gillingham lead Bradford City by 4-0.
A week later it was Fleetwood leaving Priestfield wounded. A 3-0 victory with Brandon Hanlon's 3rd goal of the season, and another Eaves double, taking his tally to 11 for the campaign.
Plays it across to Ogilvie, Eaves is there! Oh, and what that'll do to ease the nerves around Priestfield.
An exciting run in the FA Cup began in November with a thrilling first-round replay. Just 10 seconds away from elimination at Hartlepool, Eaves scored under pressure from the spot to force extra time, where goals from Elliot List and Luke O'Neill secured a second-round tie in Slough, where Darren Oldacre's wonder goal proved to be the difference.
Long ball downfield looking for Eaves. He holds it up well with a couple of men around him and now brings Oldacre into play. He might try a shot from range. Darren Oldacre with an outstanding goal for Gillingham. He unleashed a shot from 30 plus yards out and it flew beyond goalkeeper Turner into the back of the net.
Either side of that win in Slough were a pair of league victories on the road. First a trip to the Memorial Ground and a 2-1 win over Bristol Rovers. List opened the scoring after just 8 minutes, before Callum Riley doubled the advantage just before the hour. Despite then seeing red shortly after, the Gills held on for all 3 points. Next up was Scunthorpe, where 2 goals in 2 second-half minutes settled the game. Eaves scoring the opener, before this excellent strike from Dean Parrott, his first goal for the club. The good run appeared to be coming to an end when Wycombe went 2-0 up before half-time at Priestfield, but a second-half resurgence ended with Josh Parker's header rescuing a point. Defeat to Charlton sent the boys home for the holidays with their first defeat in a month. But they couldn't have asked for a better late Christmas present, completing a league double over league leaders Portsmouth on Boxing Day. The GFC school under new management this academic year continues to go from strength to strength, with more pupils having joined the team at Priestfield Stadium. All members of staff, along with its students, have become an important part of the Gillingham Football Club family. The club's official charity partner, Take Heart Mercy Mission, are preparing for their next trip to Sri Lanka in September, where a team of doctors and surgeons from the London Evelina Children's Hospital will travel to Colombo to perform a number of life-saving heart operations on young children. Over 270 operations have been performed so far on previous missions, with a fundraiser scheduled to take place at Priestfield on Saturday the 13th of July. Gillingham entered the new year in 18th place, just 4 points above the relegation zone, and after defeats at Southend on New Year's Day, that gap was reduced to just 1. Conor Ogilvie thought he had rescued a dramatic late equaliser, but instead it was Southend who sealed all 3 points in the dying moments. Four days later, though, came the highlight of the season. Premier League Cardiff came to town in the third round of the FA Cup.
Eves finding Elliot List. Oh, he's only gone and scored! In the last 10 minutes, Elliot List scores for Gillingham. It all came when the ball was played long up to Tom Eves, who got away from Sean Morrison, who stayed on the ground. Just watch 15 here, Elliot List, who moved back into space, took his time, remained composed, and found the back of the net. The match winner in the first round is the star of the hour for Gillingham once more.
So Gillingham through to the fourth round for the first time since 2004. Riding high off the cup win, a trip to Burton saw Gillingham 2-0 up at half-time. List on the score sheet once again, and Callum Riley notching from the spot. 2 second-half goals from Scott Fraser looked to have earned Burton a point before a dramatic late winner from Josh Rees. What followed, though, was a 5-game winless run, which saw us drop into the relegation zone and see the Dream Cup run come to an end with a 4-1 defeat away to Championship side Swansea. Cup runs proved to be a big part of the season across the whole club, as both ladies' sides reached the final of the Kent FA Women's Cup. In a close game, it was the first team who came out on top in a 1-0 win, Shana Giordani scoring the only goal of the game at Priestfield.
At the end of the day, Gillingham are the winners out of this evening. It shows how good the ladies section and the girls section is that the fact that we've got a development squad that wants to turn up and give us a run for the money.
For the men's team, their stay in the drop zone lasted just a week as Mark Burns scored the only goal of the game in a victory over Scunthorpe, sparking a run of 3 wins in 5. Despite a loss to Sunderland at the Stadium of Light, Gills would take all 3 points away from Adams Park. And Tom Eves thought he'd earned us another win on the road at Fleetwood. But a stoppage time equaliser meant the points were shared. It was another dramatic finish 7 days later as Oxford visited Priestfield. This time, though, it was a happy one. Brandon Hanlon's 89th minute header moving Gills up to 13th. Defeat to Bristol Rovers was then followed by this come-from-behind draw at Luton. An impressive victory at Kings Meadow over bottom-of-the-table AFC Wimbledon moved us up to 12th, but still only 5 points clear of the relegation zone in a congested bottom half. Tom Eves netting for the 19th time this season.
At this league and League Two, I think a lot of it comes down to consistency. If you're consistent, you can end up being one of the teams in the playoffs. Even you may not be the greatest team, but you're hard working, you're consistent every week, hard to beat. You can be in there, and this league shows you that this season that there's teams that have been mid-table, just outside playoffs, and then you lose 2 or 3. Then you're looking back over your shoulder at relegation, 1 or 2 losses, and you could be in it. And then vice versa, if you're down there and you win 2 or 3, you're up mid-table, and a lot of teams would take a mid-table finish at the start of the year.
The nerves continued to fray as a draw with Rochdale was followed by defeats to Peterborough and fellow strugglers Shrewsbury, meaning safety was still not mathematically secure with 4 games to play. 18th place Plymouth were next to visit Priestfield, and we entered the fixture knowing a win would finally guarantee safety. It was the visitors who took the lead though, and would go into half-time 1-0 in front. But in the second half it was one-way traffic. Regan Charles Cook's 3rd goal of the season levelled the score, before Mark Byrne completed the turnaround 2 minutes later. There was still time for Mark Byrne to play in Brandon Hanlon to make it 3-1. As the Gills confirm their place in League One for another season.
Just to sort of get over that line, obviously we was touch and go with the relegation zone, and obviously being 1-0 down at half time changed it up and gone on to win 3-1, sort of secured our League One status, I'd say.
So the end of another season and another improved league position, as well as an FA Cup run to remember fondly. After Steve Lovell's departure in the final weeks of the season and a new manager set to be appointed in the summer, Gillingham will be looking to continue to push on towards the playoffs next season.
Obviously, you can always be higher up in the league or could have personally done better. But on a sort of reflection of the season, I'm happy with how it's gone, how I've performed, and what we as a team have performed. Obviously, we could always do more. Obviously, certain things, injuries, suspensions, these all sort of factors that come into play. But I think we've done ourselves proud this year, yeah.
It's literally just down to consistency, a little bit better home form. Our home form hasn't been as good as we'd liked, and obviously, if you can have a real good home form and go away and pick up some results like we have done this season against some good sides, then who knows where that could take you. But it's something that we can build on for next season.